Okay, thank you. Okay, so now what y'all are going to do is you are going to log in. Does everybody know how to log into their D2L, their Desire to Learn? Anybody not know how to log into Desire to Learn? Anybody? And that's one thing we're going to do in this class is we're going to talk. I'm not one of those teachers who stand up here and do all the talking. I usually show you a problem or two, and then I make y'all work, okay? So, you're going to log in your D2L. Did it ask you anything? No? Okay, so you're going to log in your D2L, and you're going to come up here and you're going to click on Math 120. And your access code has already in there. It's already been sucked in. You've already paid for it. You don't have to do a course ID. It's already there. Now, this is the first time that I've done my math lab, my stat lab within D2L, so I'm going to kind of play around with you. Your announcements are out here. It tells you my office hours, my phone number, my name, my email, and in just a minute we're going to do another way that you can get in contact with me. I keep all of my announcements out there and try to keep them current. This is the last day to withdraw, and I'll talk to you about that when it gets a little bit closer. This kind of tells you what we're going to be doing this semester. I say 2 to 3 times a week you need to be logged in and working in, and I call it my math lab, and y'all mathematicians are paid lots of money to confuse you. We call it my math lab, we call it my stat lab because this is a statistics class, we call it course compass. This is the same thing as what Alex was when y'all were in 102, for those of you who took 102. It's all the same thing, you're just doing it electronically. Make sure you log in, make sure you do your assignments. If you need help, you go across the hall. That's where the tutoring is. It's totally free. You have 3 tests and a final exam to take for this class. So you'll be taking 3 chapter tests, 3 unit tests, and a final exam. All of your tests will be taken diagonally across the hall. They'll be taken in the testing room. So you have the tutoring room and you have the testing room. You have 31 homework assignments and then 4 assessments. Those 4 assessments are going to be your unit test and your final exam. So just make sure you use your time wisely. And these homework assignments are not like they were back in the day where you could have one problem. One homework problem may be part A, part B, part C, part D, part E, part F, part G. So if you get all the way down to part G and you miss it, you got to redo that whole part A through part G to get credit for it. Okay, so don't wait till the last minute. This just lets you know that we are now doing Math 120 in D2L, and you can opt out and say, I don't want to do it through D2L, I want to do it outside. It's going to cost you more money. We're doing this to save y'all money. You have 2 assignments that are due by this Friday at 10 a.m. I really want them due by Wednesday, that way if you have any issues we can get it straight. I'll show you how to do those 2 assignments in just a minute. And then there were more news announcements, so I hit show more news announcements. Let's see, we just did those. This talks about how to do your homework. There is no reasons, and I have videos out there. I have the electronic textbook out there. I have extra notes out there. Go to tutoring. There's no reason why you shouldn't make hundreds on all your homework. You can redo that homework over and over and over again to get hundreds on all your homework. And then we'll talk about taking a test before we actually take it. This talks about taking a test before you take it. This talks about what I just said about everybody will be using the same calculator given by the testing center. Now, outside of class, you want to take your calculator over there, and they're going to put a program on there that wipes the calculator clean. So you're going to want to make sure you stop by the Math Hub and get that program sucked onto your calculator so that you can get used to using it, because you're going to want to do that every time you go to take a test. And we'll talk about that later. If you need to buy a calculator, I go to the pawn shops. The pawn shops have the best deals on the calculator. You can usually get them $30, $40, $50, or go to Facebook. You do have to have an ID every time that you go into the hub or every time that you go into testing. They only let you go in one time without an ID. And that's a tech ID, not a driver's license. So make sure you have your ID. Come on in, Jarman. I've already told him that I won't yell at you because you have a reason to be late. All right, I will be sending you emails through your tech email. Now, it is a pain in the rear end to go to a computer, to log in, to check your tech email. So I have the steps for the Android and for the iPhone of how to go out and get your email sucked onto your phone if you haven't already done that. So it tells you, and I leave this out there all semester in case you get a new phone in the middle of the semester. So this shows you what you need to do step by step so that your email can go straight to your phone if you haven't already done that. And that tells about opt-out. Okay, so these are all of your announcements in D2L. That's your course home. So every time you open up, you're going to have the course home, which is going to be your announcements. And if I have a bunch of announcements, make sure you say show all items. Now, content. Content is where you're going to be doing everything else. Content. And I'm going to briefly go through a couple of these things with you once it decides to. Table of contents just shows you everything that we're doing. The main links are going to show you just the bulletins, the buttons. Course, that just gives you my information that I had on the home screen. Syllabus and course outlines. And I'm not going to spend a lot of time looking at this, but I'm going to show you a couple of quick things. Really? It must not like Edge. I'll pull it up in a different website browser in just a minute. All right, tentative outline, and I'm going to pull this over and show you that I have made some changes for your benefit. See if this one will open. There we go. I'll make it small for just a second and then I'll make it big. I usually don't teach in this room, so all my little stuff is not over here. Alright, so this is what we're doing. I'm not even doing it that way. Let's do. We are doing 10 chapters this summer, y'all. 10 chapters. Let's see if I can snap it and make it bigger so y'all can actually see some of it. I know it's a little blurry, but we are not going to do a test on chapters 1 and 2. Our first test is going to be on chapters 1 through 4. So your first test is going to be on chapters 1 through 4. And then there's also a couple of sections that I deleted. And you'll have this out there in your notes. I've deleted 9.4 and I deleted 10.5, and I chose not to give a test right before your final exam. So you're going to have test 1, and then test 2 is going to be on chapters 5 and 6. Test 3 is going to be on chapters 7 and 8. And then you're going to do homework on 9 and 10, but not have a test on it. And then your final exam is going to be on chapters 1 through 10. So you have 3 tests. Test 1 is chapters 1 through 4. and then you're going to have a test on 5 to 6, then you're going to have a test on 7 to 8, and then you're going to do homework on 9 and 10, but I won't give you a test on 9 and 10 because I don't want to test you to death. I don't want to give you a test on this material and then turn around and give you a final exam. We good? So I did make some modifications on that. And like I said, I will put this out there in the, and that's what the book told me to do, but, I mean, the school told me to do, but I did make some changes. And then I'm a little OCD, so I used theirs, and then I made us one. So I did a day-by-day timeline and said, okay, this is what we're going to do on the first day. This is what we're going to do on the second day. I may be a little bit ahead or a little bit behind. So today we're going to go over my stat lab, answer some questions, go over D2L, and we're going to start doing some math. And then I broke it down as to what we're going to do throughout the whole semester. And I'm trying to keep a whole class to review for the final exam. Okay, so this is my goal in mind. And then all of this is under syllabus and outline. Gosh, this is being slow. Okay, just to make sure that everybody's in the right spot, because I like to do this on drop add day, I'm going to make this, I think I may have it on my stick so that I can make it bigger. Curriculum. It's on there, but it's super small, so I'm going to bring it up and make it bigger. I want you to find your degree up here and make sure that your degree requires Math 120. So look up here and find your major. I'm going to scroll up in just a second. Did everybody find their major? Now, is the math that's beside your major Math 120? I'm going to scroll back up. The math beside your major should be Math 120 because we want to make sure that you're taking this class for the right reason. Are we good? All right. Now, let's go back. That is syllabus and course content. Y'all are not going to break anything, so anything that y'all can get into, y'all are supposed to be able to get into. Homework, I'll go back into just a minute. Lecture notes, everything that I do up here and that I write on, I will come out here like this afternoon and I will post my lecture notes. So if you like to write, that's fine. If you just like to listen or listen and write, know that everything that I put on here is going to be posted out here. And I'll put the date beside it so that you'll know this is what we did week 1, this is what we did week 2. So don't feel like you have to capture every single thing. And I'll have the video out there as well. So that is Ms. Cooper's lecture notes. Math Hub information, I'm not going to click on both of those, but if that tells you when this room is open so that you can go get tutoring, what their rules are. If you have a suggestion for them, you can go ask suggestions or tell me suggestions. It's completely anonymous. Worked out homework. This is something that probably my online students would have loved to have. I worked out, or it's Jimmy's, but he worked out every single homework problem. Now, your homework problems may be different than my homework problems. Different names, different scenarios, but at least it gives you something to look at. So, for example, if I click 1.1, these are samples like your 1.1. There's the problem, and this is telling you straight out of the book, page 3, this is where it came from. This is the problem, it's telling you what it is. And if calculators are involved, there's calculator screenshots out there. So you have that to look at when you're doing your homework. Okay? So that's under worked out homework. All the sections. It's going to be this slow all semester. We are going to be in trouble. Math help information we did worked out. Brain fuse. A lot of people don't realize. Has anybody ever heard of brain fuse? Lawrence Darlington Tech pays a fee every year, every semester for y'all to go online and use this tutorial service for free, 24/7. You click on it and you choose, I need help in statistics, or I need help in English, or I need help in biology. And there is a tutor on the other line that can help you with whatever subject you need. Totally free. We're footing the bill. So a lot of people don't realize that that is an option. E-textbook, it is the electronic textbook of this. So even though I don't make you buy a book, the reason I don't make you buy a book is because it was bought when you bought the electronic. But I like you to have the physical book when you're in here. The notes that I do in class, I already have worked out for you. I have PDFs of everything worked out beforehand. So if you want to look ahead of what are we going to be doing next week, or what are we going to be doing on Wednesday, I already have those worked out. Extra class notes, if you're one of those that are like, okay, I got it, but I need some extra help, or I need some extra examples, I have extra class notes out there. They're labeled 1.1 extra class notes, 1.2 extra class notes. Unit test reviews. I tell you, and let me pull up chapter 1. Okay, unit test review, chapter 1 through 4. This is telling you already what's going to be on the Unit 1 test review, or Unit 1 test. And I'm going to go ahead and download it so I can make it bigger. So as we do things for this first test, because I know for the first test you don't know what to expect, I'll download it so it's going to be bigger. So I am telling you on day 1 what to expect on your first test. And I already have out there the second test, the third test, the fourth test, the third test and the final exam. So on your first test, I am telling you that there's going to be 31 questions on that test. So when you open up test number 1, expect 31 questions. And these are what the 31 questions are. These are the directions. Apply the definition of an outlier. Determine and interpret the z-score. If it's not on this piece of paper, it is not on your test. So if I'm doing something in class, so what I usually do is I tell people, hey, print out that sheet. And if Miss Cooper's doing something in class and you're like, this is freaking killing me, is it going to be on the test? You look up here and you say, is it one of the numbers that are up here? Because if it's not, then I just got to survive it on the homework. I don't have to worry about it on the test. Okay? So this will be the key to whether you need to know it on a test or whether you just need to get through it on the homework. All right. Let's see what else we've got to look at. That's unit test reviews. We're going to pull up the homework in just a minute. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I'm not being too patient. Formula sheet. I do have a copy of the formula sheet out there. It's like 5 pages that you can use. When we start using the formula sheet, I'll bring it out and show it to you. But by any means, anything that's out here, you can pull up. Graphing calculator, videos. I have videos out there. So I have lots of resources out there. You just got to use them. Okay? So that kind of gives you, and I'm going to talk about homework in just a minute, but that kind of gives you an idea of what's out there. Please go out there and look. Okay? Just like if you go to videos and you're not understanding a section, I have videos out here. There's a video, you don't know what quantitative and qualitative mean? You click on the video and the video will come up and explain. Let's see if the speaker's working here. And y'all, I love this man. If you don't get something in statistics, AP Stats Guy. You just Google AP Stats Guy in a topic.
All right, this is the next video here of this course. I'm going to talk a little about what random variables are. Random variables are things that happen randomly. It's so if you're randomly choosing people coming into Stop and Shop or somewhere,
short little videos. Okay, so I've got videos out there. So that kind of gives you an idea of what to expect in D2L. Click around. This is where I'll keep your attendance. This is where we'll keep your grades. This is where you're going to go take your test, which we'll talk about when we get a little bit closer. Now, let me see if there's anything else that I need to talk about. Mr. Haynes, you go by Travis?
Yes.
Okay. Let me pull this up real quick while, not that, this. While I see if there's anything else I need to talk about before I start teaching some math. Can you grab some books out the bottom drawer and start handing them to some people? Can you grab some too? Okay, I did that. I need to talk about that. I did that. We need to sign. Done that. I need to talk about that. I've done that. I'll do a sign-in sheet for the first 2 weeks. After the first 2 weeks, I don't do sign-in sheets anymore. All right, let me see. All right, Tuesdays and Thursdays, y'all, for my office hours, I may be in my office and I may be over in the 100 building advising. So before you come see me in my office, you may want to text me. And let's talk about how to text me while we're handing out. Get it out of my notebook. I usually never let you have your cell phones out, but if you will pull your cell phones out for just a second and go to your text messages, and in the number spot, if you will type in 81010, and in the number spot, don't type the number symbol, but in the number space, type in 81010. And in the message space, if you will type the @ symbol, 19SUMA, SUMA, at 19 SUMA. And it's going to come back and give a message. And then, yes.
Is there supposed to be a dash between the second, the first zero and the second one?
No. It may put it in your phone automatically. It may put it, and that's fine. But 81010, and then in the message, it's going to be the @ symbol, 19SUMA. And then hit enter or send or whatever, and it's going to come back with like a message and tell you to type in your first and last name. And then once you type in your first and last name, hit enter again, please. Let me get rid of all this so that I can. And I could be telling y'all to do anything, and y'all just steadily doing it. Saying, you are adding money to my account, and y'all just doing it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 12. Okay, I've got 12 so far.
You said respond with your name?
Yeah, your first and last name. And if it doesn't let you do it, let me know and I can add you myself. I'm at 13. Let me know if you have issues. I'm at 14. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. All right. We are good. Let me grab it. Okay, I just sent you whatever message they have in there. And so what you can do is you can save this as my Math 120 teacher or Miss Cooper or this crazy white lady or whatever you want to call me. It comes from a random phone number, So whatever number it says for you is not gonna be the same number that it says for the person beside you. For those of you who may or may not have used the Remind app, it's an app on my phone. All I see is your name. So when you text me, I see your name, but it keeps you all together as a class. So when you text me, I know, oh, this is from my 120 class. And so if you're running late to class or if I'm canceling class, I can text you real fast and I don't have to worry about did they get my email. I know you're going to get a text. So it's a lot easier than having to send you an email and worry about did you get it. I can send you a text real easier and you can text me. We good? All right, so that is one more way that you can get in touch with me. All right, let me see if there's anything else. Oh, another thing that you may or may not have heard about. SDTC. Have y'all ever heard of the Bright Space Pulse app? No? It's in your Play Store, iPhone, whatever. Let's see if I can pull mine up. It looks like, and I can't draw. It looks like that. If you download it in your phone, and the first time you're going to download it, it's going to ask you like your zip code or your school or something. But after that, when you hit that Pulse app, it takes you straight to D2L without having to log in. And it just brings up all your D2L stuff. So you don't, I mean, the first time you ever use it, you've got to tell it your school and you've got to log in. You know, use your first, last name and your password. And then after that, you just click on it and it brings up all your D2L courses without ever having to log in. So that's another way to kind of save you a little bit. It's called the Bright Space Pulse app. I try to make y'all's life a little bit easier. All right. Bring your ID. I talked about that. No cell phones in class. I do tell my students that I crotch watch. So when you're, have y'all signed in?
No.
So if you're looking at your crotch and smiling, I know that you are on your Snapchat, iPhone, whatever. Snapchat, Facebook, Instagram. So for these 3 hours, we are not connected at all. Okay? And I think that may be it. We're ready to do some math. All right, any questions? I do give y'all a break about halfway through class. Since it's a 3-hour class, I give you a break about halfway. So if I forget to get you a break, please remind me. Don't be afraid to remind me because I get to teaching and I forget what time it is. So around 12:30-ish every day, I should give you like a 10-minute break or so. Yes?
On this Bright Pulse app, it gave me the option for FDTC's online college. Is that the right one? Or
Is that the only choice?
It was the only one.
Is that the only one that was like FDTC?
Let me double check on
I
that.
can't remember what I did. If that's like the only FDTC one,
Yeah, it is.
yeah, then choose that one.
Okay.
Yeah, I can't remember what I did. I know I chose something with FDTC on it.
Okay.
All right, so let me grab your index cards. And let's start doing some math. I'm so excited. Y'all, I absolutely love math. And by the end of the semester, hopefully you will have a little appreciation and love it as much as I do. It oozes. Did you know that I'm too fat to, okay, I'm gonna put it back up there for you. Okay, I thought I was gonna keep the shoes on the whole class, but they are gone. Okay, so, first thing we're gonna talk about is you are in a statistics class. I put it back up there for you. You are in a statistics class. I want you to tell me what is statistics. When you hear the word statistics, what does it mean to you?
The odds.
The odds?
I think of that Mark Twain quote, but that's not.
You think about who?
I think about the Mark Twain quote, but that's not part of this class.
Okay, Mark Twain.